recording?
Yeah, man, let's start the show.
Sounds good.
Welcome to the Trump and Biden podcast.
This is our second episode, and I am really excited.
Why don't you tell the people at home why you are so excited?
We have over 2,000 subscribers, and with that comes sponsorships, and I am happy to announce our first sponsor.
After a couple of my jabs from me about Donald and Stormy Daniels, we had a company show some interest.
I am proud to announce our new sponsor is Stormy Condoms. When a storm comes your way, make sure the levee doesn't break with Stormy Condoms.
Now we will make some serious coin from this podcast. I will be able to pay for Hunter's legal defense.
Can you throw some of that coin my way? I have some legal issues as well.
Sure, man.
Now we will shift gears and talk about today's topic. Have you ever played RPG tabletop games or computer games like Dungeons & Dragons?
I have played a few times.
A lot of people when I was younger said Dungeons & Dragons was demonic and satanic.
I also heard that rumor going around that it was demonic.
Well, don't worry, Joe. I checked with someone that dabbles in the occult, and they said it was okay to play.
Who do you know that dabbles in the occult?
I don't want to name names, but one of their usernames was Nancy P., insider stock trader at uscongress.gov.
That does not surprise me at all.
Anyway, I wanted to first talk about what kind of character you want to be. One option is a melee fighter. I specifically like to be a tank. This type of character can take large amounts of damage with many health points. I kind of think of myself this way.
Oh, yeah? How's that?
The Democrats would keep coming at me with fake news, impeachment hearings, and tons of litigation. I would get knocked around, but always come back. In fact, I'm running for president again, even after everything I've been through.
I'm running too, but some people think all my stats are getting lower with time. They think I may die of natural causes soon, which would make bringing me back to life very difficult.
I'm not a healer, Joe. That is out of my realm of expertise.
Maybe I should talk to Zombie Reagan and see how he was brought back to life.
I don't think Zombie Reagan is a real thing.
I heard about Zombie Reagan on The Onion.
That's fake news.
Well, that's your opinion.
Joe, why don't you share how you like to play Dungeons & Dragons?
I would love to. Another type of character you can choose to be is a spellcaster. Casting spells brings a new level of strategy to the game that melee characters don't have. I like to play as what you may call a glass cannon. They can deal out immense levels of damage from a distance, but their health points are pretty low.
Glass cannon? Is that your son Hunter's nickname for his crack pipe?
Are we really going to joke about this again? Get some new material, man. Hunter isn't much of a spellcaster. He is more of a healer and dabbles in potions.
Potions? I find that somewhat alarming.
He gave me some stuff the other day that made me feel like $1 million. Actually, due to inflation, probably more like $2 million.
You may want to ask him what he's giving you, Joe. Some of those potions may have illegal stuff in them.
I'll make sure to ask him after he finishes his trip to Arkansas. He's meeting with his baby mama about some legal issues.
At least the boy has good taste. I wouldn't mind having her as my baby mama, if you know what I mean.
I think everyone knows what you mean. You really like the exotic ladies, don't you, man?
That's why I have a wife that's a former fashion model.
Speaking of models, you typically will need a lot of miniatures to play Dungeons & Dragons. Also, you'll have to paint them. I have Hunter paint mine because of his mad painting skills. I get a lot of comments on my miniatures. The kids say they are pretty sick. In fact, Hunter sold one to a foreign guy for $500,000.
Speaking of sickness, how is your health these days?
My doctor says my body's in great shape for an 80-year-old. He told me 80 is the new 40, or maybe he said I was in good shape for someone born in the 1940s. I don't really remember.
I've noticed you do not remember a lot of things these days.
I don't forget things as much as you think. My doctor told me I have the body of a 40-year-old.
You just said that, Joe.
Oh, did I? Maybe I was thinking that you wanted the body of a young 40-year-old.
No, I prefer the body of a young 30-year-old, just like Hunter's baby mama.
Anyway, let's get back to Dungeons & Dragons.
I also wanted to talk about playing as a rogue. They sneak around waiting to strike without warning. Most rogues have assassinated multiple foes without getting caught, kind of like Bill and Hillary Clinton.
I'm not going to argue with that. Once you have chosen the type of character you want to play, your group, also known as a party, will choose a campaign to play, or maybe the dungeon master will choose one.
Just for clarification, a dungeon can be multiple different things like caves, old ruins, or large ancient buildings. Sometimes people think of dungeons just as a place where people are imprisoned and tortured, which is not the case in Dungeons and Dragons.
It's too bad we don't have dungeons in the United States anymore. I guess the closest thing we have nowadays is Guantanamo Bay.
Joe, could you explain to those listening at home a good place to find a campaign?
Now, a good place to start looking for a campaign is on the internet. Some cost money, but some people upload free content.
What's your campaign these days, Joe? Try not to die?
What's yours, Donald? Lose 2 presidential elections in one lifetime?
I have 2 fists here that can win any campaign imaginable.
You want to go, man. I have a rusty blade with your name on it. It's been sitting in a rain barrel just for an occasion like today.
All right, Joe, let's be civil about this.
You're right. I'm calming down. I need to go back home.
But remember, I will be watching like a rogue in the dark, ready to strike when the time is right.
Good thing I had the locks changed at the White House.
That's probably a good thing. Just like today's podcast. I'm Donald Trump.
I'm Joe Biden, wishing you the best in your life and whatever campaigns you take on.